Hi everyone! Today's episode is mainly directed to product managers or product owners who are responsible for building product in their company. Of course, we are all together responsible for this product with software development team, product manager, product owners mentioned before. But in general, here I think it's worth to understand how you can split your planned features into different multiple parts and validate one by one with your customers. When we are building a product, quite often we want to introduce a new feature. And this new feature can be something that we thought about, or it can be requested by our users. So if it was requested by our users, it's great. However, you still need to validate it if it makes sense to just go into this direction or not. Usually, it's like several different users are complaining about some part of your system or are just requesting something new for it, new functionality. And you can imagine that they request something like upload of a file. Now, you take this request and you start planning it, how it can be done. And then you plan that it will be possible to upload files like images, like movies, small and big ones. Then you can upload the file by the model window, or you can do that by drag and drop. And as you can probably see, this scope of the feature grows a lot. And it's not anymore one feature, it's a lot of different ones inside it. Like mentioned, the model dialog, upload, it's one feature. Drag and drop is second feature. Then you have this upload of small files, it's as well another feature. Then you have another one which is upload of big files, and so on and so on. If you don't split it somehow, it usually gets done by doing horizontal slice. So someone is adjusting, let's say, some kind of a storage or a database. Then your business logic is applied there. Then you have the API, and then you have the UI. So after probably a month, maybe 2 months of work, you have a mind-blowing feature of uploading files. And then you deploy it. And unfortunately, 4 out of 5 things are not used. So no one uses the upload of movies, no one uses the upload of big files, and no one uses the upload through the model window. Now you can just take it and throw it away. You might ask, how is it possible to know that the users are using this particular part and not the other one? And for that, I can tell you that you can use different tools which are available in the market. One of this is, for example, Clicky, where you can see where your users are clicking around in the application, but there are of course more tools that you can use, and it doesn't matter really which one you select, just select the one that fits you. Okay, I talked a lot about splitting the thing, but how in fact can I split it? How to run this feature development process from the scratch? The way how you could tackle it from the beginning is to use a vertical slice. Remember when I told you that when you are developing some feature, you are just starting from the database, then going through the business logic and some maybe services which are mapping the data, and then you have the API, and then you have the UI, and then after a month or so, the feature is completed. Instead, vertical slice is about adding entire feature at once. So you don't split it to database, services, business logic, API, UI. You are just taking all the stuff that you want and you are putting it as a feature. So now the feature which comes into the production is dealing with, let's say, uploading of small file through the model window, and it can be your first vertical slice. So what you want to do is to allow users who requested to upload some images, then allow them to do that through the model window. Now, when you just allowed them to upload it through the model window, you are observing how the stuff is used. Is it really used, or was it just a nice wish from several customers, but in fact all other customers, all other users that you have in the application are not using this functionality? If they are not using it, you just take it out or you leave it. It's up to you. The decision is based on the costs that it generates. If the costs are acceptable, you can leave it. If you don't want it because no one else than 10 users is using it, you can just cut it out and forget about upload file functionality. But maybe you see a feedback from users who are saying that, hey, it would be great to as well have a drag and drop. So what do? You just take it and you do the drag and drop as a separate feature, which can take, let's say, 1, maybe 2 weeks, and the full feature will be available for your users. And now you just divided your budget for entire upload of a file to several different parts, and you are reacting, not proacting, you are reacting on the user's feedback or user's behavior in the application. And let's assume that you deployed this drag and drop. Your users are happy, that's great. If they are not happy, then you just stop and maybe you can just take this out. Another story which you can have, another feature that might be requested is then the upload of big files. It's a bit more complicated than uploading the small files because maybe you will need to use, for example, streams for that. And then you see that, okay, our users requested to upload files which are more than 1 gigabyte and so on. And then you are allowing them and you see how they are reacting. So everything is based on the user feedback. And then of course you can have other features like extending it to upload movies and other file types and so on. Of course, it's not only related to the uploading file. You might have as well something like a shopping cart, and in this shopping cart you don't need to show to the users from the beginning the photo of the item that is in the shopping cart, full information like description, detailed description with size that was selected, quantity, and so on. Maybe you need just a title as a text, you need then some price as a text and a total price, that's it. And then within time you can add image, you can add description, size, quantity, and maybe some recommendations below. So each is a separate feature. This way you have a very small parts which you are able to get feedback for really fast. The most important thing is that you have to somehow monitor this area that you introduced. So here, as mentioned before, you need some kind of analyzers that are analyzing the behaviors of your users in the application. And this way we are not blind, we just see what is needed. Of course, sometimes it might not be the case that you are waiting for the user's feedback, because you might think that it will be fine to introduce some feature in your application without asking them. Maybe you saw it in the competitor's page or in the competitor's application. If it was the case, then yes, you can introduce it and you can see how the people react. But it doesn't mean that you don't have to split it to multiple features. It can be done exactly in the same way as you would have a user's request, because first you can add some part of functionality and then you will react to users' feedback. Maybe they would like to have something extended there, or you can propose it like a vertical slice. Summing up, when you would like to be more agile, and here we are talking about being agile, not using some framework which implements agile or tries to implement it. No, it's becoming agile as a company, it's becoming agile for your customers' feedback. Then you would have to switch from this thinking of having a mind-blowing feature that takes 2 months to develop to smaller parts. So you are dividing it. But each small part, which is called vertical slice, has to be usable for the user. if you add something as a vertical slice, it's very important that user can start and finish the process from the beginning till the end. No matter how, but it's possible. And then you can simplify this process, extend it, and do other parts based on the real feedback, the real needs from the users of your application. What do you think about this? Do you do that on a daily basis? Do you prefer to just go with this mind-blowing feature that takes a lot of time and then there are a lot of different problems related to merging into code? Or you are more in the agile way that you just upload the stuff, deploy the stuff that is needed for your users at this particular moment? Let me know in comments. Thank you very much for watching this episode. And hear you, of course, as always, next Friday at 6 p.m.